Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where family trips to Florida can begin and end close to home. Nonstop service on Allegiant Airlines to Tampa St. Pete and Orlando Sanford from Bloomington. Close, convenient, Sierra. More at CIRA.com.
A crisis nursery in Bloomington is facing some of its highest demand in years for food and supplies. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Wednesday, December 3rd. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with that crisis nursery in Bloomington that's seeing higher demand and hoping for some help during the holidays. More from WGLT's Eric Stock.
Brightpoint Bloomington's crisis nursery admitted children from more than 100 families over the past year, and its annual admissions to its crisis nursery services are at their highest since 2021. That includes its family home visits and parenting education and other group supports. The early childhood nonprofit has also distributed 76,000 diapers, almost 4,000 wipes, and close to 1,000 packages of formula. Brightpoint's Chief Advancement Officer, Matea Varvedic, says the need keeps growing.
Families are telling us every day that they are having to make impossible choices between buying food for their families or buying diapers, and that's not okay with us.
Brightpoint is accepting donations of non-perishable food items and supplies through its week-long Stuff the Bus event with Connect Transit at several Bloomington Normal stores through Saturday. Mindy Smith, Brightpoint's Vice President of Early Childhood Services, says baby formula is always in greatest demand and the community always comes through.
To see how the community comes together is really inspiring, whether it's here helping with the bus or figuring out how we can serve a family that's coming with nothing.
A bus is stationed at the Kroger on College Avenue in Normal today from 10 to 8. For The Leadoff, I'm Eric Stock.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a measure allowing the state to develop its own vaccine guidelines independent of the federal government. State officials say vaccine information from the CDC has become politicized and unreliable. Connect Transit has been awarded a $5 million grant to support construction of its planned bus transfer center in downtown Bloomington. That funding comes from the Federal Transit Administration's Low or No Emissions Grant Program. And a musician from Bloomington has landed a record deal. Matthew Curry signed with Roof Records, will be part of the lineup for their blues caravan tour across Europe this winter. Roof Records has released albums by artists including Samantha Fish. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. Ever so often on WGLT, we feature community servants and unsung heroes working to make McLean County a better place to live. It's a series we call More of That, Please. This time around, you'll visit McLean County's Toys for Tots program, which celebrated its 25th anniversary this year of giving Christmas gifts to children in need. Troy Ziegler has served as the director since 2012. Ziegler tells WGLT student reporter Ben Howell the number of families Toys for Tots supports has grown over the years.
Up until last year, we averaged anywhere between 4,500 to 5,000 kids a year. And that's probably since I took over in 2012. Last year, we had a 40% increase in numbers. We did almost 7,100 kids. But we're also, not only do the children's, we work with social service agencies, Boys and Girls Club, Western Avenue. We provide toys for their programs. We help support 10 different schools systems over three school districts, So, the reach is there. Foster care programs are a really big part of where we help out too. We're partnership with the Baby Fold, who has one of the largest foster care programs in the state. So it goes a little bit beyond just Christmas time now too. So the program is continuing to expand. So we've had to change our way of thinking a little bit and go more towards a year-round type of thing.
How much does the business really pick up speed, like Black Friday onward?
Oh, it's so our boxes normally go out. We try and get them out mid-October to late October. So they're in 110 different locations throughout Bloomington Normal, which is our drop box locations. We also do a lot of our own purchasing of toys, which is why we fundraise so hard. And that allows us to do backfill the products or the toys that we don't get for certain age groups. So the boxes, generally, we don't get calls on that until after Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is kind of like the wake-up call, the jingle bell that says, oh, you're 3 weeks away from Christmas, and that's when people start thinking about it.
Is there any part of the job that you describe as the hardest part, or is there any part of it that's difficult to face?
Go back to when you were a kid, and go back to, or when you gave your child or your grandparents gave you the toy, the joy and the excitement that you felt when you opened that present. Now take that feeling and multiply that by 7,000 kids on Christmas morning this year. And that kind of gives you a little bit of an example of the impact that we have.
Do you have any stories that stick out to you from your time with Toys for Tots? Is there something, a funny instance, a memorable thing that you think about every Christmas?
You know, it's a program that you see a lot of repeats, right? Situations that happen, and we get it, and we're happy, and we get to know some of the people that come through the program. And 2 years ago, there was a lady that came through and said, "Hey, Troy, hi." And we gave her a big hug. We asked what was going on. Is everything okay? And she was there to volunteer because she had gotten a job. The kids were better. Her situation improved. So the 5 or 6 years that she had used the program, she wanted to give back. So we consider that a success story.
That was Troy Ziegler, director of the McLean County Toys for Tots program. You can read or listen to the rest of their conversation at WGLT.org. In 25 years, that program has provided gifts to more than 130,000 kids. Toys for Tots has more than 100 drop-box locations set up across Bloomington Normal.
Support for More of That Please comes from Onward Injury Law, providing legal services to personal injury clients in Bloomington Normal and Central Illinois.
Before we let you go, the Bloomington Planning Commission meets today at 4 at the library's community room. On the agenda are some amended plans for the Empire Business Park development that's off Empire and Trinity Lane near the airport. And that is it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. The show is produced by Cheyenne Brown. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.